and state your name and what you do.
My name is Nichole Tanner. I am the LGBT liaison for the NAACP.
Okay. And so how long have you been involved with LGBT activism?
For the last 3 years, I've been really involved with LGBT issues. However, civil rights issues have been a passion of mine since I was, I think, about 8 years old. My parents were Black Panther Party. I've always felt like civil rights issues were important.
Important, exactly. So with the NAACP, what is their involvement? Because I know that Julian Bond, the late dearly departed Julian Bond, was a very fierce advocate for marriage equality towards the end of his life. And where does the NAACP go, in your opinion, from here?
Well, right now, the national office has made the LGBT issues, equality issues, one of their talking points. And the local office, our current president, Tanja Thomas, has decided that we need to be forward thinkers in Columbus, Georgia. And so she has started with recruiting me. And I was a previous member of the NAACP, and coming back, we see that there are some really equality issues with the MEI score that we receive, and they're knowing that there's small things that our community can do to be more gay friendly and equal. So to include just having a police liaison and fair housing and services to the LGBT elderly and to the LGBT youth, the homeless youth, the HIV awareness issues, all those things are small things that Columbus could do. And so we want to make sure that our community is ready to move into the 21st century, to the 22nd century, and we are welcoming everyone.
Right. And so is the NAACP Columbus prepared to be more involved with LGBT activism for the future?
Yes. Right now, the RFRA is a big concern of ours, and so we just recently had a meeting trying to start a coalition here in Columbus and calling some very important members of the community and regular local citizens to the table to have a conversation of where we need to go, because we want to make sure that Georgia stays free and equal for everybody. And so we want here in Columbus, we want to make sure we do our part. Okay.
Is this your first Colgay Pride, and how is the turnout for this iteration?
Well, no, I spoke last year. I was the PR person for CV Pride, and at the center closed at the beginning of this year, and so from that point, that's the reason why I moved over back to the NAACP, knowing that there still needed to be some activism here in the community. Mr. Hobbs has done a great job with putting on his Pride Festival. There was a nice turnout, and we want to make sure that we keep a working relationship with our communities. We want to make sure our community stays united and not divided.
So so Colgay Pride as an organization, in light of the closure of CV Pride Incorporated, what sort of role do you see that Colgay Pride can expand into in the future?
Well, Mr. Hobbs does a lot with community activism, and he also does a lot for HIV awareness, and so we want to make sure that we support him in what we do, but also we want to make sure that even those that may not be involved in Colgay Pride that are not gay, that we include the straight community, because that's where, even back in civil rights, even though it's for Black people, white people were involved. And so even though it's for gay people, straight people need to be involved. The whole community needs to be involved. So this is not a one-man show, this is a community thing.
Okay. And for African Americans and people of color, especially as they're becoming more of the coalition that's being sought in the election, and that their involvement in politics is being polarized against the likes of Donald Trump, and the sort of coalition that he's building, which is not as much of a coalition as it is a set of grievances. For African Americans who are LGBT, the intersectionality, as it were, for African Americans who are LGBT, where do you see the place of African Americans and people of color who are LGBT in the larger political movement for progress?
Well, just like with the election of President Obama, we need to make sure that we continue to make our government reflect who our country is. And so not only does it need to be a black president, we need a female, we need a gay, we need straight. We have a place in this community, but we need to take it. It's not, we've always been here, so it's just now we need to not be ashamed and make ourselves more visible and be more boisterous about what our concerns, not just grievances, because equality is an issue for everybody. We don't want to just be standing and complaining. We want to make sure that we put our concerns in action and making sure that all these rights that we were born into, that we actually exercise them, to include the right to vote. So all of your viewers, I would hope they get out and vote. And if they don't get out and vote, and they make sure that they are registered voters and that they become aware of what the concerns and the issues in the upcoming election is. Because even though we talk about the national election, the local election affects us more personally than the national election does.
So what would you like to say to the people of Columbus for this Pride?
I would like to say that I would hope that our pride grows and eventually that we will not be, our pride would not eventually just be in the middle of Broadway, that we take over Broadway, or that we move to a bigger venue where it's something that the whole state of Georgia wants to take part in. Columbus is a wonderful city if we live up to the potential that we have, and that's going to be what we push for with the NAACP in the upcoming year in 2016 and 17.
Thank you so much, Nichole Tanner, your LGBT liaison for the NAACP Columbus branch.
All right, thank you.
You too.